Well, my internship that I did over winter break was at Cattle Visions. It's a semen distributor for mostly show cattle, but some production cattle, and that's their logo on my title screen. And the cow underneath is one of their more popular show bulls that I decided to include in there. So let's get going. My background, I grew up on a farm 40 minutes north of here, right by Cattle Visions actually, which I thought was funny. And we raise Limousine Angus Cross, which is why our cattle are red. And in 4-H and FFA, my sister and I got involved in show goats, so we raised those for a little bit, but the cattle are production and the goats were just mainly for fun and show. And I really wanted to do this internship because I'm interested in cattle AI, and learning from a semen distributor I thought would be a great way to get kind of into the industry and what kind of people to talk to and what you actually do every day. So the founding of Cattle Visions, it was started in 2002 by Carl Newbrow. He owned cattle himself and decided that he wanted to do semen distribution, and he had a guy working underneath him, Jared Royer, who now co-owns the company, but he helped him get started with that, and now it's co-owned by Jared Royer and Lance Ellsworth. And Lance is based out of Wisconsin, and he doesn't do as much as Jared does, like selling wise and business wise. Like he'll help a little bit, but he mostly leaves it to Jared. And I asked about opening up, why don't you open up another location? And he was talking about how this business does so well being from just a one location place because they're basically a one-stop distributor, that's a good reason that they don't have any more locations. So my learning expectations, my supervisor there, Doug, he came up with a few, and he felt that I hit all of these pretty well, and I did a lot of talking to him while I was there. He was a pretty good resource, so he taught me some of these things: nitrogen handling procedures, how the bull collections work, shipping, filling, and receiving semen orders, as well as supply orders. And then he really wanted me to ask a lot of questions, interact with the employees. And the first day, I learned a lot about nitrogen safety, and they had bull collection going on, so I got to look at. So this is our big bulk tank right by the building there. That's what holds all the nitrogen that goes into those shippers and goes into the big tanks that hold the semen there. And then on the right side, those are some of the shipping, I guess, like packaging, like the thing that goes over the shippers that go out. They're mushroom shaped, so a lot of things can't be stacked on top, which is what you really want because you've got all the fragile semen inside and you want to minimize the risk of bumping while they're in the truck. And this was the collection side. So their barn and their AI school area is fairly new, so it was really nice. And in the middle there, that's their classroom, and they've got all the pictures of the people that have taken their school so far. The left side that's the actual barn area, and it's got pins there, and you can see there's a little stand there where you can have a steer held there while the bull is collected after mounting. And then on the very right side, that's where semen is evaluated right after it's been collected, and I got to look through the microscope there, which I thought was really cool. And so this is a picture of Andrea and Jacob. Andrea is packing an order right now. I got to watch a lot of that, which I do think is cool. You got to be careful handling the nitrogen, but I think it's a really fun thing. And on the right side is Jacob. He did a lot of I watched him during the bull collection, and he was the one that looked through the microscope, got the semen packaged and ready to be put in the fridge and then sent off to a place where it would be frozen, and if it was frozen, it would be sent back and sold. So this was where the orders were basically filled and shipped. You would fill up the shipping tank with nitrogen so it's nice and cold, and then you would put your semen orders in there, and then those white papers underneath the caps, they held the order number and what kind of semen they ordered. So we would take that to the computer and we would put that in and basically bill the customer and check off that it was shipped, and we'd bring it back over, print the shipping information, and stick it on the shipper. And then on the very right side, those are some heat patches that were put in there with a supply order. Expectations to what I've learned. So I learned a lot because it was kind of a slower time, and I think it definitely checked off all the expectations. And I was excited to learn more of the marketing side of the business, like selling certificates and then the contracts that go with the bull owners. I thought it was really cool that like they get to basically come up with the marketing for the bulls and like how to sell their semen most efficiently, I guess. And then what I wanted to see more of was the collection side. So there was only one day of bull collection, which bull collections, they're more frequent in summer because it's warmer and better for the semen. And so it was really rare. Like, it was actually really cool that I got to see it the day that it did because they didn't have them very much. They kind of just come up randomly. And then this was basically the warehouse, those big metal tanks, that was where all the semen was stored. And there were some pretty high numbers for all the amount of worth, like the amount of semen worth in those tanks. And on the left side, that's a picture of some of the straws that are in there. They've got quite a few, and I think it's funny, there's so many colors and so many different names, and you have to, when you're packing orders, really pay attention to what straw you're taking out and what tank you're putting them in. So these were a couple filling stations. On the right hand side, those are the carry tanks. So carry tanks they only hold nitrogen for up to maybe 5 or 6 days. So they're really good if you want to put your semen in there, take it to your farm if your farm's not far away, and then transfer it to a wet tank and then bring it back real quick. So that's where most of the shippers are filled up in the mornings. And then on the left-hand side, that's where customers can bring their tanks and where the bigger tanks are filled. And they had quite a few customers come in today, I'd say, that needed their tanks filled, so it was pretty handy to have. So recommendations for other interns, I think it was a great starting internship. Everybody's really friendly. They were slow enough to where everything could be explained properly. There was lots of good safety involved. I think it's just an overall great place to start. And I really liked it because the employees seemed like really interested in helping you learn, and I thought it was really nice. There were a lot of different things to see too, so it's not just like you shipped every day. They had the one day bull collection, and then the office has all the marketing stuff and the certificate things. And then here's just a few more things. On the very left, those are canes and goblets, so we got to put together a lot of those when we were bored. But in the middle is Aubrey. She's zip tying some of the shippers down. So when you ship them out, you have to make sure that the shippers are definitely closed, and they put actually in there for the customers zip ties for when they ship them back so the shippers don't get damaged inside the tanks. And then on the very right, that's just a supply order we filled. And then this is Peiko. He was one of the bulls that I got to watch get collected. And I thought it was funny because even though he was the tiniest bull in there, he was definitely the loudest and the most prominent. And then here's a couple of other cows, or a couple of other animals. On the right is one of the jump steers. He kept peeking in the windows at us, and they have I think at least 4 of them. They have 4 out there, and they're different sizes for different bulls as needed. And then on the left, that's Bear. He's one of the employees' puppies that they brought in, and I thought that he was pretty cute, and I just had to include him because I saw him every day.